Hey everybody, welcome back to Art by Galen. My name's Galen Eilenfeld. If you've been watching any of my Creating Comics Start to Finish series, you probably know by now that that series is sponsored by ComixWellSpring, and that they are a comic book printing company that also does accessories and things for your comic books and for your convention booths and things like that. However, this video is not sponsored by them. I just wanted to do a review of a service that they provide on a website called CWSBookstore.com. I think one of the biggest problems that we face as indie creators is, yes, creating the comic book is a big task, but getting it out into people's hands can be an even bigger task if we're not prepared for it. For the past several months, I've been using a service that CWS Bookstore provides to kind of cut out a few steps in getting my books into the hands of my readers. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about that setup and experience and what I think of the service. So a quick overview of what the site is you place an order with ComixWellSpring to get your comic books printed. They only require you to print 25 books, so that makes it super easy to do. And you get those 25 books printed, and rather than choosing to have them shipped to you, you can choose an option where they keep it in their warehouse, and then you set up a page through CWS Bookstore where people can buy it directly, and they will ship it out to your readers. Personally, I think that's pretty great because it solves a few problems that we have. One of those problems being having space to store inventory. 25 isn't a lot, so that's pretty manageable. But if you end up getting into the hundreds or more, it can be pretty cumbersome having boxes and boxes of comics everywhere and waiting to get orders, and then you have to pack them and ship them. And you've also got to store all the packing supplies and everything else. And it also solves the problem of you having to manage like all of the shipping and going and finding a place, whether you go through the postal service or through UPS or anything else like that. All of it gets taken care of through CWS. I'm going to walk you guys through the steps of like what you would do in order to set it up and to place orders and things like that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how I feel about it and my experiences with it so far. The first thing I'm going to assume is that you have your comic ready to print and you're ready to go with that. You're going to go to the ComixWellSpring website. You're going to go to products and you're going to get your comics printed. You're going to add those to your cart and place an order. And once you've entered the information for your book and you're ready to place your order, when you get to shipping, rather than choosing to have it sent to your house or to a storage area, you'll choose this top selection instead that says in-store pickup or CWS Bookstore inventory. And it says leave a note for CWS Bookstore. And where you'll do that is you'll put that down here in order comments. You'll say, okay, this order is for my CWS Bookstore account. You'll continue through and you'll get your order printed, and it'll go through the process of them printing it out and getting it all set up for storage. And while your order is waiting to be printed, you can go to CWS Bookstore and you can set up an account here. And they've got 3 different tiers that you can choose from. The first tier is commission-based. It's only 99 cents a month. Comes up to just under $12 a year. But they do take a 15% commission of each sale that you make. As it says here, this is the low risk. You don't have to pay like a big monthly payment to it or anything like that. And you can build up your storefront, you can have all the books that you want, and it allows you to sell digital and printed books, which is pretty awesome. The next one is the Pro Fulfillment. This is $20 a month. This is for somebody who sells a lot more, and you don't want to pay that commission. I've done the math on this, and once you start breaking, I think it's a little over $130 a month, the payment that you're making is going to start becoming less than what the commission would be. And that's where you're going to start saving money. And the cool thing about this is it does offer a 30-day free trial for this level if you want to set it up and see what it's about. If you're certain that you're going to be earning past that threshold for the year, you can go the Pro Fulfillment Plus route and pay $200 for the year. That saves you $40. And it gives you all of the benefits of the previous tiers, but on top of that, you also get an extra 5% off of your printing costs, which is, anytime we can save money getting our comics done, that's always a good thing. And this one even offers a 60-day free trial for setting it up. In all honesty, I think that the 60-day free trial is kind of the no-brainer. I would start by setting up an account, setting up that 60-day free trial. Build up your storefront, build up your profile, get your books and things set up. It gives you a little taste of how it's going to function. And then in the event that you don't want to continue with it, you can cancel that tier and you can go back to the commission-based tier if you like. Once you've got your account and everything set up, you can go in here and it has tons of data that you can use for your earnings and for reports on your sales and things like that. I'll maybe do a deeper dive into that later on. We'll kind of see what people think about it. The first thing that you want to do once you get your account set up is go to your products and get your products set up. You'll click up here where it says add new product. It'll give you a window where you can put in the details about it. It does have an interesting thing here with the discounted price. Most of my books, they're going to start off at $7.99. And the digital versions might be a little bit cheaper. But for the first month, I might set it, a couple dollars off, and I'll schedule it from my launch date to a specific date. That way it turns off, I have it under my control. And I like doing that just to kind of give people a little bit of incentive to pick up the books when it first launches and maybe have some people leave reviews and things like that. This is also where you're going to put a cover image and any other like page teasers and things like that. One thing that you need to make sure that you do when you're uploading a new product and adding the information is you scroll down, and right here, after you've added your tags and your description and images and everything, right here you need to make sure you need to put in your print order number. You're going to go over to your ComixWellSpring account where you place the order for your books to be printed. You'll put that order number here, that way that CWS can find and store your books for you. And it helps keep it organized on their end. Once you're done with that, you hit create and add new, then it'll give you a chance you can make some changes and you can choose to publish it. It'll take a little bit of time because they do review submissions. They're going to take a look at your book and they're going to make sure everything is in order. They will either approve it or they will not approve it. And if they don't approve it, they'll get back with you. You'll have a chance to fix whatever is wrong with the upload, and then you can get that sorted and get your book published. You'll get that going, and then once you have your book ready, it'll be listed in your products below, and you can see the details about like whether or not it's still in stock, how many people have looked at it, when did you publish it, your prices and things like that. You can also go in to edit them. The only thing with making edits to your book is it will disappear for a little while from the store until someone at CWS has had a chance to review the changes. And once they've done that, it'll pop back up on your store. And from there, all you've really got to do is you have to just, start sharing it with people, get it out there, share it with your audience, show them that they have a place where they can order the books directly. And because of the ease of this, it ends up saving you a lot of time. On the other side of that, if you are a reader of comics and you want to find more indie comics, you can use the store to browse and order books for yourself as well. You just simply go to browse, or you can search by categories and just look through. You can find my books, Baku Dreamwalkers. You can find my Creating Comics Start to Finish workbook. You can find tons of other really cool indie books that are created by people like you and me that have put their books up for sale through CWS Bookstore. I'll use mine as an example. It's really just as simple as going to the book, clicking on it. It shows you an overview of the book. It gives you an image. It gives you some sample pages that you can look at. It shows you how many you have left in stock, which is something that you're going to have to make sure that you keep an eye on and restock your books before they run out. If you have physical and digital versions, people can choose which one they want and they can make their purchase from that. They can either add it to a wish list or add it directly to your cart. If you're browsing a book and you like the work that you see and you want to see more by that creator, you can click on their name and it'll take you to their storefront where you can scroll down and you can see all of the books that that person or that company has available. My overall impression and view of CWS Bookstore, I think it's pretty great. I think it is especially good for indie creators because it gives us options instead of having to have a massive amount of storage and having to handle and process shipping and packaging and everything on our own. The one negative that I do see, and it's not their doing at all, it's just simply shipping for international. They do have international shipping options, but I can tell you it's not cheap. And like I said, that's not any doing on their part. That's just the state of the world that we live in at the moment. Even if I'm doing it myself, like I'll ship out a comic, I'll put it in a bag with a board, I'll tape it up, and I'll put it into one of the fold-up cardboard mailers to keep it safe. Sending one of those overseas to most countries is going to cost at least like $25 just for the shipping. It ends up being pretty pricey. That does sort of limit the effectiveness of it to like the United States, at least for now. I don't know exactly what the plans are for the future. I do know that shipping is something that we all struggle with. Anybody that creates any type of physical product and has to ship it out, we've all dealt with this at some point. Overall, I think it's fantastic. Not only does it solve a bunch of problems for us or give us options, but I love that it gives us those options in a kind of affordable way. You can do the free trials, and if you don't end up like making enough by the time your trial is over, you can do that 99 cent a month option, which is pretty easy to do without like a big monetary burden, because you can still put up as many products as you want. They will still store and ship as many as you want. You know, you just have to make the content and get it put out there and get it published. And then you can work on getting more and more eyes on it. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to do this video not sponsored is because I didn't want people to feel like there was a big amount of influence on this. Yes, my other like creating comics videos are sponsored by ComixWellSpring, but one of my terms in the agreement with them was that I will always be able to express myself completely and honestly, and that they won't try to dictate what it is that I say. But I still felt that it was in good taste to do this video not sponsored and just to be, you know, as raw and open with it as I possibly could be. And in all honesty, I think that using the bookstore is going to end up being a great resource for indie comic creators, especially because ComixWellSpring themselves are such a great company, and they've dedicated themselves to working with indie creators and to uplifting indie creators. You know, and an example of that is they've sponsored my series to help me, you know, to be able to, you know, get more people into creating comics and show them that it's not as hard as we tend to think, and to help kind of have like a guiding hand go through all the steps of getting them made. They've also started sponsoring artist alleys in comic conventions, and what they're really trying to do is they're trying to push and promote more and more actual comic creators to have a larger presence in these conventions, which in my opinion is something that comic conventions have been severely lacking. And not all of them, but quite a lot of them. And so to me, that shows that they do have their heart in the right places. You know, they are a business. They do profit off of getting comics printed and things like that, but they do truly support the indie comics community. And so having that as kind of being the backbone, I could really see the CWS Bookstore end up being kind of the hub for the online store of going to purchase indie comics. And I think that's pretty awesome. You know, and I want to be as much of a part of that indie creator community as ComixWellSpring and as you guys. I think one of the biggest things that I suffer with as being an artist is I'm also kind of a recluse, like, so I tend to live in my studio for the most part, and if I'm not working on things, I'm spending a little bit of time with my family, and I don't really get out a whole lot. You know, these videos, my streams, and my comics and things like that are really my connection to the rest of the world. And so what I'm trying to do is trying to make sure that I'm always making at least a little bit of an effort to push outward and to, you know, interact and to be more of a part of the indie creator community. Because there's lots of us. There's lots of us out here. There's lots of amazing books that are out there. In all honesty, I think that the current level of indie comics that are being put out through crowdfunding and things like that, I personally think that they are infinitely higher quality than what a lot of the big name publishers are putting out these days. This is my personal opinion, but it is what it is. I said it. Thank you guys for hanging out and for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you want to support what I do in any way, you can purchase my books at CWS Bookstore, or you can become a patron on my Patreon and you can support that way. I share the comic pages that I create as I get them finished. And on top of that, I do monthly pinups and spicy art. But anyhow, I'm going to quit rambling. I hope you have a fantastic day. And until next time, keep creating and take care.